up, guys? I'm your girl, Angie Smalls. This is a new episode of Latin Affiliated TV. We are here at Street TV Studios. Shout out to Alex Alonso. We got an icon in the building. We got a Latin hip hop pioneer, Mellow Man Ace.
Yeah.
You came to bless the show. I
Absolutely.
appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time in coming, right?
Yes.
Remember, I was like, I'll be on the show, and then I was like, nah,
Lots of DMs.
can't do. Yeah, I was like, I don't know,
No, it's all good. I had to get my feet wet a little bit.
I saw the growth, and I liked it.
Appreciate that.
So congratulations to you.
I appreciate that. We have a lot of mutual friends.
Yeah, you've had Jerry Garcia and Be Real and a lot of my boys.
For sure.
I did my research. I
Yeah.
did my research too. And so I salute you on a job well done.
Oh,
You know what
that
I mean?
means a lot,
and
man.
The growth that keeps going and going and going. So
Yeah, that means a lot. Yeah, speaking of Be Real, that's like your brother, that's your family.
yeah.
See you
Yeah,
on
I
Be
mean,
Real
I-
TV all the time.
A lot of stories with that guy, coming up since he was 15, I'm 16 and a half, 17 in the same breakdance crew to, touring the world and getting stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, you know what I mean? So
Damn.
it's, when you see that, it's just the things we were able to accomplish. Like we set out to do these things and we did them.
You are like one of the founding members of Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
And it originally started off as this other name, which was
Well, look, originally it's just me and my brother are the originators who lived on the block on Cypress Ave. We turned it into Cypress Hill later. okay?
Yeah.
But me and my brother were the ones that started recruiting everybody.
Right. And you
know
brought
what I'm
Be
saying?
Real into it.
I happened to bring Be Real because he was in my breakdance crew. And then there was Tomahawk Funk. And then the only Mexican down with NWA at the time, Crazy D, was also down with us.
Yeah.
And then we brought in DJ Julio G because he went to high school with us, even though he was from Linwood. Now, Julio G from 1580 K-Day. And then we brought in DJ Muggs as the last missing piece so that he could anchor the Cypress Hill stuff after. You know what I'm saying? But at first, I was the front man. Send Dog and Be Real were the dancers. And DJ Muggs was my DJ.
Dang. So you had quite the vision.
I mean, it's not just my vision. I think my brother and I had a co-vision, because we had seen movies like Wild Style, Beat Street, Crush Groove on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as for me and Be Real, our breakdance crew was more concerned with just scamming after the battles, seeing which girl was interested in whoever and just go Mac. But I was looking at it like, wait a minute. Hip hop is on the big screen now. If we do this right, we could be like that. So one day I challenged the breakdance crew that I was going to take Be Real with me. At this time, his name was still Jeep Jeep. And nobody stepped up. They were like probably thinking like, whatever, you guys ain't going to do shit. You know what I mean? And so I challenged them at the high school, took him with me, introduced him to my brother Sendog. That's how that went down.
Yeah.
And so those two they hit it off right away because I'm Sendog's little brother, but I was always more headstrong, if that makes sense.
Are you the youngest?
I'm younger than Sendog, yeah.
Yeah.
Be Real is the youngest, but he's not our brother. He's like a
No,
little
I meant like
play cousin,
between you and your brother
yeah.
and your family, your immediate
I'm the
family.
youngest brother,
Okay.
not the youngest.
I feel like usually the youngest in the family is the one that's always like, because I'm the youngest in my family.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no. I'm the youngest son. But and that's kind of how that went down, you know what I'm saying? My little sister who's in the Mentirosa video, who's the star of the Mentirosa video, is the youngest one.
Oh, damn. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was watching some clips of you. Was she the one that performed? Because you performed on Arsenio Hall.
Yeah. That's funny you should mention that one because that's one of the times all four of us are on stage together as brothers and sisters on the Arsenio Hall show.
And so she's actually the girl, too, doing the lyrics.
Right. Well, no, not originally.
Okay.
My little sister stepped up because the girl who actually did it got cold feet. I got a call from the Paul Rodriguez show. First show I'm ever going to do with cameras. And the Paul Rodriguez called and they said, we want you to be on the show. And I said, great. So I called the girl. Her name was Denise. I said, Denise, this is awesome, you know. Excuse me. The Paul Rodriguez show is really, you know what I mean? It's going
Yeah.
down. Shit is real.
Yeah.
Well, she had a boyfriend at the time that didn't permit her to come and do the show. So I asked my little sister, I said, hey, you think you can learn this shit? She said, I already know it. I said, for real? She's like, yeah, I love your records, bro. You know what I mean? I'm ready to do it. Let's go. We go do it, and my little sister stuck. You know what I mean? So now this girl misses her opportunity. We go all over the world with it. Wrapping it back around to the
Yes.
Arsenio Hall show. When you see the Arsenio Hall show performance, it's all of us. It's our older sister, Myra. My brother Sendog is on that one. Myself and my little sister. Now, you wonder why I did that. My dad always used to say, whoever makes it first, bring the rest of the family with you.
Dope.
So I did.
That's
And we grew up on a lot of family groups. The Jackson Five, the Jets, the DeBarges, the Brothers Johnson, the Isley Brothers. You get my point?
yeah.
There was a lot of family groups back then. And so I wanted to follow that pattern of what was going on. The Silvers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All that stuff. So
Yeah, no, that's dope, man. You're just pulling up your, people around you. And similarly to what you did for Cypress Hill, or within Cypress Hill, and then you ended up
Yeah.
kind of, how did you separate, or you ended up going and becoming
Yeah.
a solo artist?
there was three components. Number one is my father kicked me out of the house because I didn't want to hold a job because I believed in myself so much. And sometimes that's what it takes as a young person to not accept no. That's number one. Okay. Number two was Be Real was off gangbanging and playing hip hop sometimes. So he was sometime in it. My brother Sendog was busy trying to appease my father and kept a job at Kenny Shoes in Huntington Park. And so I'm like, I gotta keep this shit going. So he kicks me out of the crib. I'm living at our hood house now. Beautiful place, but just our, the family. I'm very thankful for them, although it wasn't, very clean sometimes. I'm thankful to the family, but sometimes, what I'm saying. Anyway, those three components is what made me have to go solo. Because now I have to jump into action to get back in good graces with Pops. So now I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm going meeting this one, meeting that one. And I'm going wherever it takes to find an opportunity for me to learn how to, to get on. And that's when the opportunity arose one day. My man DJ Muggs, who had been working with a group called 783 at the time, Brady B and Sean B, from Brooklyn, New York, they were working on a record for the movie Colors at a studio in Hollywood called Delicious Vinyl. That day, DJ Muggs came on the block. I remember like it was yesterday. He had that red Lincoln, that ugly Lincoln Thunderbird from back in the day. And he's like, yo, anybody want to go to the studio? I'm like, I'm the only one here, so yeah, let's roll. We get there, and I meet two white boys come out of the back, like right here, you know what I'm saying? It's like a apartment studio, a recording studio. And a cloud of smoke opens up by the kitchen, and two Jewish kids come out. One of them's name is Mike Ross, and the other guy's name is Matt Dyke. He's resting in peace now. But these two guys are known as the Dust Brothers, who would go on to produce the Beastie Boys and Tone Loc
fire.
and Young MC, my first single, all that. They said, hey, man, we just started a record company, dude, you know what I mean? and Matt, love his soul. He would come out with, obscure records and shit from the back during the session. And they're like, we just started a record company, man. It's called Delicious Vinyl, dude. And we just signed a guy by the name of Tone Loc and Young MC from USC. And I was like, ooh, teacher, I rap too. I said, I even rhyme in Spanish. And they were like, Spanish rap? I'm like, yeah. They said, bust something. So I start going in on this rap that I wrote back in the day and used to battle rappers in my neighborhood. Cuando llego a la casa, esto es lo que pasa. Empiezo a gozar con toda la raza. And they're like, hold on. Dude, you're fucking dope. You're like the Spanish LL Cool J type of guy. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, whatever you say. You know what I mean? Whatever you say. So they said, come back tomorrow. We're going to put you on the track. And if it sounds dope, we'll give you a single deal. And that next day, sure enough, I borrowed my mom's car because I'm broke at the time. Borrowed my mom's car. Said, Mom, I'm going to Hollywood. She said, okay, do what you got to do. Just don't, I won't tell your dad that I let you borrow the car. I said, okay, cool. I go down there. I start tracking the rhyme that I had already from all these years of battling. And they were loving it. They brought in the great Tony G, the master Tony G, to chop it all up because I didn't know nothing about how to write a hook. At this time, I could just rhyme. Tony G came in and chopped up everything, and we turned it into like 3 or 4 verses. And then because they had Matt and Mike had this rock background, and we listened to a lot of their early production on Tone Loc, like Wild Thing, right?
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. They had this rock background. They decided to put these guitars from the Michaels band, I believe it was, into the hook of that song, and that became my first record in 1987. It was called Mas Pingon. And it's like a cult classic now, especially in the Mexican and Cuban community. So
Yeah, you got a lot of hit singles, and you really paved the way with. I think you think Mentiroso was probably what did it, what made you like a household name when that single came.
oh yeah, of course. That one reinvented the bread altogether. First of all, it opened the doors for now record companies to start checking for Latino rappers. after we sold 1 million copies, they looked at us finally at that time like, damn, the Latino market is viable. They never did before then.
Yeah.
I remember hip hop started recording in 1979. Here we are in 1989, 90 when I recorded Mentirosa. So it still has to take about a year to bubble. So we're looking at about 91 that they actually start going, oh, wow. The Latino money or the Latino influence matters. And I think that then now that's when they went to sign the Kid Frostes, the Lighter Shade of Browns, the Cypress Hills, the Beatnuts, this one, that one down the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So are you hearing or tapping into what's the conversations happening now? There's a lot of conversations happening about Latinos' original role in hip hop, and
Yeah, of course. There's a big feud going on right now coming out of the East Coast. But I like to stay away from all that because I know I've been a proud dude, a proud Latino, Afro-Latino ever since I made my first record. Those guys that are arguing and bickering, I think it's because they don't have proof that they actually spoke something in Spanish on a record. So now they want to belong and kind of want to be more proud now. And I think this is a great place for me to give credit where credit is due to my man, Mr. Schick of the Mean Machine, who was the guy that I heard rap a little bit of verse, a small verse in a record in 1981. He's the one that showed me my path, my life career path. Because once I heard that record and I heard him rhyme, I said, I want to be like that guy. And I think having foresight enough to know that there wasn't an over fluctuation of that in the marketplace, I think it was a good thing for me to do. So then when it came time to track out Mentirosa and create that style, which hadn't been done, I just tapped into some old neighborhood shit, and since we had to create that style, like nowadays kids could wake up and go, I'm going to rap like this guy. But some time ago, I had to think that up. And that was probably the hardest part of creating that record because the story kind of told itself based off something I already lived with the female at that time.
yeah, that's a good point because back then the internet wasn't
No,
You know,
didn't exist.
yeah.
It didn't exist.
So you're hearing music like you said, Mr. Schick.
Yeah.
Did you work with him?
We're going to work on something now.
Really?
Actually, yeah, I mean, this is a gentleman who's now 64, 65 years old. And I went 30 years looking for this guy after I got on tour. Every time I was in New York, I either do jams, either in the park with DJ Charlie Chase, another great and amazing pioneer legend, or I'd be playing Roselands or the Palladium with downtown Julie Brown. Whenever I was in New York, I'm asking, yo, has anybody seen Mr. Schick? Nobody ever saw it. Nobody remembers what happened to Mr. Schick. It's not until fast forward now, 34 years, last year, actually 33 years, I decided to give a shout out and a prop to him on Facebook with a picture of him and a thanking my mentor. The day after, some kid named, just cousin name, Julio Rivera contacts me. Say, hey man, are you really serious about you shouting out my cousin Danny? I'm like, who's Danny? 'Cause I don't know him by his real name. He said, Mr. Schick. I'm like, come on, man, stop playing with me. And he's like, yeah, no, Mr. Schick is really my cousin. I said, if he's really your cousin, here's my phone number. You have him call me. Next day comes, I get a phone call. It's out of South Carolina. And I'm testing this guy. I don't believe it. I'm looking for him now for 33 years. I don't believe it. I said, first of all, if it's you, kick that rhyme. He kicked it in its entirety, okay? Without fumbling, without mumbling, none of that. I said, okay, well, send me a picture to my phone. He sent me a picture. I compared them side by side with some old pictures that I had from the internet. I'm like, okay, this guy could grow into this, right? He said, look, I do graphics now. I'm a graphics for colleges and BMW. I'm gonna be coming to California to work for BMW. I said, well, what part of California? He said, Palm Springs. I said, I'm coming to meet you. So time comes, he comes in, he tells me where he's at. Me and my son drove out. I needed proof. I need somebody to hold the camera. My son comes, we meet this gentleman. It's definitely him. He knows much about the group to not be him, right? We filmed him doing the verse, the whole deal, and it was an amazing experience to finally catch up to my mentor so I could thank him, in person. And let him know, like, dude, I'm the little kid that looked up to you the most. I picked up the torch 6 years later and,
That's awesome.
and ran with it.
What did he think about your music?
Oh, he loved it. Now, his side of the story is he's in South Carolina one day. We're just watching TV. He's watching Soul Train. And lo and behold, here I am on Soul Train with Lakeside and the Force MDs that day. This is with Mr. Don Cornelius, rest in peace, okay? It's the real deal Soul Train, not the bullshit that came after, right? He sees me rapping in English and Spanish, and he's like, who is this kid? Song's over, Don Cornelius interviews me, Mellow Man Ace. Now he's finding out, wow, like this is the guy who picked up the torch. And I'm like, yeah. So his side of the story is beautiful the way he tells it as well, And nowadays, we just pay homage back and forth to each other because he just told the story on a podcast where after I did that homage to him, he woke up to over 650 messages from people who didn't know where he was. And now they want him to do podcasts. They want him to do shows. He's on a big documentary now that came out called, I believe it's called De La Calle or something like that, where this journalist goes throughout New York City trying to find all the Puerto Ricans and Cubans who had an importance in the first generation of hip-hop.
Dope.
So we're talking about Mr. Schick. We're talking about Whipple Whip. We're talking about DJ Disco Wiz. These are ultra legend, pioneer, bricklayer, foundation layers, We're talking about Ruby D of these old school groups, first school hip-hop. And so he did a show, a documentary about all these guys. And because of that, that shout out, Danny was able to get on Mr. Schick. And now all these other dudes are like, damn, he's that dude. He's the only one that's got proof. He said something in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? So now he's the man 45 years later. And he's like, little brother, he shouts me out everywhere. If it wasn't for Mellow Man Ace, nobody would know where I'm at.
Wow. So you know a lot, it sounds like, about like the East Coast.
I am a true student of hip hop, period.
Okay.
And I believe in order to be a dope MC or an entertainer, you should know as much about what you do. Like if you were a mechanic, right? Well, are you going to be a half-ass mechanic? Or are you going to be a mechanic that knows about transmissions, engines, chassis, yada yada, radiators? You know what I mean? Or are you a one-trick mechanic? All you do is tires, right? So for me, I want to know as much, and this has always been how we acted and how we were on Cypress Avenue. We were always students of it because when we started doing this, the internet didn't exist. Mm-hmm. So we would have to take out newspaper clippings and stuff like that and record shows on TV on a VHS tape. For instance, the David Letterman show once had a group called the Funky 4 Plus One More on their show. And then one other day they had a group of breakdancers by the name of the Rocksteady Crew. They had Crazy Legs and Ken Swift on. We would tape these things, cut the newspaper clippings out of the LA Times, paste them on our wall, me and my brother, and then just kind of look at this whole shit. Who is this guy? Why is DJ Kool Herc important? Why is Africa Bambaataa important? Why is Grandmaster Flash important? Who are these people who are building this music that we love so much? Who is Malcolm McLaren and the world's famous Supreme Team? And that's kind of how we did it. So by the time we actually jumped on the mic, we were well versed about where this music come from, mm-hmm. who created it, blacks and Latinos, and why it's touching our DNA like that. And I think as an entertainer, it's really, I mean, it's vital. You'll see a lot of rappers today, and they won't have that entertainment quality about them. They're like what I call one-trick pony rappers. This is the kind of rapper that'll come on stage, hold his jock, and maybe light a joint, and he thinks he's killing shit. You know, and I think there's more to it than that. There's about, can you rock the party? Mm-hmm. If you take away the screen lighting in the back, and you take away all the fucking fire explosions and all that, what do we have here? Strip it all down. What do we have? What are you doing? Are you really entertaining? Are you taking people away from their problems for your 30 minutes that you're on stage? Or are you just sitting there being braggadocious, holding your dick and lighting a joint? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm only talking about the ones that know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not the professionals. We're not talking about the Snoop Dogg's, the Cypress Hills, the ones that really introduced that lifestyle. I'm talking about the other ones that just sit there and pretend like they created some shit.
Yeah.
And nowadays, people are so sensitive, you can't even talk to them like that. Everybody's so sensitive and overwhelmed by, am I getting an accolade or an adulation? You know what I'm saying? From my school, where we grew up learning this culture, we have to let you know the truth, man. There's no way around it. It's the only way you could get sharp. It's the only way you can become a well-rounded entertainer.
For sure. Yeah, that's a huge tip or advice for artists right now. You know, what's going to make them stand out? What's going to give them the longevity?
Longevity. A lot of kids want it. A lot of them don't know how to go get it. For instance, I have a new friend, a rapper by the name of Certified.
Yeah, I know you got a new song coming out.
We got the new joint coming out that's burning right now on the street. What's Up Fool, produced by Position, who's the DJ for Bone Thugs and Harmony. He is a true student. Certified listens to the advice that I give him and the counsel that I give him along the way of we're hanging, we're going over here, enjoying a cigarette over there, having a lunch over here. He picks my brain. And so for him to study that shows me, number one, he's interested in something more than just a record out. He wants some longevity. right? And so I gave him the advice that I won't say too much so that it doesn't blow up his spot and then some other dude does it. No free advice, motherfucker. No free advice. You know what I'm saying? But he picks my brain, and now we got this single coming out called "What's Up, Fool," and it drops July 3rd. So
Yeah, in a couple of days when this comes out, it might we may drop this video on the same day. Who knows? Because it's right around the corner.
yeah, yeah.
I saw you guys dropping a couple clips on it.
Yeah. That video is a vibe.
It sure is. You guys are Raiders fans.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we were shooting 2 videos at the same time, though. That's why that is.
Oh, really?
We're shooting a video with Sendog of Cypress Hill, my brother, and Certified, and that one was called Born to Be a Raider. Simultaneously, we're shooting the What's Up video, the What's Up Fool video. So a lot of what we're wearing is the same because we're moving, we're here, and we're going up to Madera, California. We're coming back down. We're performing in San Bernardino, all getting all these clips to create both of these videos.
Damn.
So it's not so much that everybody's a Raider, but pretty much.
Okay, so well, I didn't know that, and so now I know you guys, and you're also working on more music with Cypress Hill.
Yeah. Plus, I got a new single coming out with Be Real of Cypress Hills, a reggaeton record it's crazy.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
Dude, okay,
So
so
we're moving and shaking. We're doing a lot of things right now.
I feel like you guys are, the younger generation is really still learning about Cypress Hill, and I think that's dope.
Well, I mean, you got to give it to the parents. The parents are passing down good music. And when you come see my show, that's what I beat into you. It's all about good music. My show has a theme, right? And it's all about good music. And I think parents are taking the time now to hand this hip hop, this rap game down to their children, and they're educating their kids more. It seems, and I think that's a beautiful thing, not only for the growth of culture but reinforcement and all those things. It's healthy.
Yeah, no. Are any of your kids in the music industry?
Yes, my son has been my DJ since he was 14.
Oh,
In
snap.
10th grade. We used to have to ask for permission from the principal and his mother, of course, to be on tour with me. But to this day, my son is my DJ.
Oh, damn. That's dope. So you're still keeping it in the family, still bringing on. That's dope, man. Well, who's producing the Cypress Hill track that you guys?
Well, there's 2 different tracks. We got the Born to Be a Raider. I'm not sure who produced that track. I was brought in after the fact. And then the Be Real joint, I want to say it was Javi Lopez.
Yeah, and
Our good
so
friend Javi Lopez.
you did a lot of the behind the scenes, like writing as well, right?
Yeah.
For Cypress Hill.
Yeah, I did. I did half of their Spanish album. I also wrote on the first classic album, the Cypress Hill album. I wrote Real Estate on that one. I've done some stuff, It's been good, Just when I do that stuff, that Spanish album, that when they did their greatest hits translated into Spanish, myself and Sick Jack anchored that that project. We did that together. He took 50% of the songs. I took 50% of the songs, and we transcribed them. And then translated them, I should say. Then the way they wanted to do it was to have us on the mic spit it so that they could have something to trace over. And it was a trip, that process, how we did that. Brilliant work from DJ Muggs, who had that type of foresight to do it like that. Because even though my brother speaks perfect Spanish, he wanted to know where the dips were, where I'm breathing, and Be Real as well. Be Real, he worked really hard on his Spanish. He's part Cuban. So, he worked really hard to be able to spit and get the, to land in the pocket of the music. Because it's very difficult. It's not just you get up and rap. Some rappers don't have a pocket. In other words, they're not swinging on the track. It don't flow. It sounds choppy and broken up. It's because they don't have a pocket, right? So when you find your pocket, sometimes we'll hear shit on the radio and we're like, man, find your pocket, pimpin'. Find your pocket, because it makes the difference of whether you have a hit or you don't, So.
Yeah, what's making that track catchy?
Yeah, there's certain elements. You got the beat, number one. It's got to move you. the rapper's voice, what he's saying, how he's saying it, and if it's in the pocket. There's certain things that you got to have.
Oh my God. I mean, Mentirosa, it's just never gets old when you hear it, you know.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah, no, that's an anthem. It's an anthem for sure. And it's hard to have one of those.
yeah.
It's hard to have one of those, but I'm one of the lucky ones. So
Yeah, no. You have really paved the way for what's happening in the industry right now. And
well, I think we also especially when Kid Frost and Lighter Shade of Brown came through, we were able to now lay a groundwork that I think even the reggaeton guys were able to now be looked at, because that music didn't exist. It stayed in Puerto Rico or stayed in Panama with the originator General. You feel me? He was the one who created that part of it, which I think is just a cousin of hip hop when you think of reggaeton, because now we're using our LA influences like Carlos Santana samples, Malo, and things like that. But they were on an island, so their best bet was to do what? Put island type music on it,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
And then rap in Spanish to it, which to me, as a true student of this game, I think it's the cousin of what we started. You'll never probably have one of them say it like that because they don't care. They don't care. They just, okay, we saw what they're doing. Let's do it our way, and then we'll take all the credit.
Yeah. And so the new track you're doing is, you said it's got a reggaeton.
Well, this particular joint would Be Real. That's what he wanted to do. I came through, heard the track. I wrote it on the spot, tracked it, and he loved it. So it's getting ready to come out. I'm just waiting for the phone call for the video. So
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, what's the plans for the music video? So
yeah, right now the music video for and the song for What's Up Fool is coming up July 3rd, and then we're gonna hit you again with Born to Be a Raider with Sendog, and then we're gonna follow that up with the Be Real joint.
damn, I love it, man.
It's just 1, 2, 3. We're gonna try to keep you, you know what I mean, tuned in all summer long. Yeah.
I love it. Are you guys gonna, work with any of the radio stations to get it played out here on the radio?
Funny you should say that. We were on K-Day yesterday. Cece Mamacita and everybody.
Cece Valencia, her episode just dropped. Go check that out. She was here last week.
Get down.
This is the homie.
Yeah, she is. Amazing person.
Yeah, I saw you guys on there on K-Day.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I mean, right now, we're just servicing the records. We're sending the DJ packs out, so DJs all over can start playing it. And so there's a new excitement in the camp right now.
That's fire. Yeah, I mean, all the kids, the new generation, you guys are getting this new music out and with a new spin on it.
Yeah.
But from some classics and, like you said, real students of the game.
Just having fun with it. I'm 57 years old. I don't need to be still doing this, because I really don't get booked for new material, but I do it because I love it. And if you love something and it's real from the heart, you'll continue doing it. I do it because I can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it comes to creating new music, of course I'm going to always do my live shows. I'm going to do my thing. And I haven't even talked about my music programs that I have, where we teach kids how to rap and all that. But in the city of La Puente, Canoga Park, and now we're close to adding Southgate to it. Shout out to David Argudo, the city councilman in La Puente, who presented me the idea during the 50th year of hip hop last year to create a curriculum to teach kids how to play piano, sing, rap, and create beats. So when you think about all that, there's a lot of excitement going on.
Yeah, I went to the performance for the 50th year of hip hop. I saw your name on all of the lights and everything.
Right.
I thought that was dope. I was like,
Right.
damn,
My brother and them performed.
Yeah,
Cypress
I
performed.
saw it.
Yeah, but I was there. I saw my name. That was cool. It lets you know that hip hop appreciates you back.
Yeah.
It's like a real credit to your longevity. You know what I mean? Because there was a lot of names that was missing.
Hey, so there was. So what did you think about Will Smith closing out the show?
Actually, I had left after Black Sheep shut it down. So I left before Kane, Rakim, and all that. Yeah.
I stayed till the end.
Well, I had just seen Rakim somewhere, so I was, and I had just done a show with Kane, so there was no need for me to stick around any longer. Plus, we wanted to go drink. Me and the homie Biggie, we wanted to just go.
Shout out Biggie.
Shout out to the boy. Hell downstairs.
So, but Will Smith is dropping new music.
Yeah.
So it was a shock that
Right.
he came out at the end, especially with everything that has happened with, him and
Yeah.
doing whatever.
I'll be honest with you. I never fuck with Will Smith. I know too much.
Yeah. I thought it was really like left field that they had him close the show out. I was like, what? Why would they do that?
Yeah, nah, I'm cool.
Okay, well, it makes sense.
I'm cool. I mean, he's hip hop. He was out there,
First Grammy, huh?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, but peace to him, power to him. I just don't.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. I feel you on that one.
That's like saying Puff Daddy to me. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
So I don't fuck with it.
I'd like to hear you elaborate a little more on Will Smith.
You would, and we'll talk off camera. Yeah.
yeah. Everybody's got no, Will Smith. He's still got a lot of work to do, in my opinion. I mean,
There are good people and there are shitty people, in life. That's just what it is, man. I don't fuck with that brand of motherfucker.
yeah, I concur, man. But I'm sure you know a lot more than I do. But just me seeing the outside of, and I think that he should have got kicked out when he slapped Chris Rock. I can't believe they let him stay and sit in the audience.
Yeah.
If there was any other person that did that, they would have got hauled out in a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're entitled to your opinion. You know what I'm saying? I have nothing to say about it.
Okay, so speaking of dissing people, just kidding. You have a diss track I want to bring up from the one you did about Eazy-E, right?
That wasn't a diss track. There was a bar.
Okay.
And that was 1989.
Okay.
And I met Easy after, and he wasn't even tripping. Eazy-E taught me the lesson that, hey, man, it ain't even about that shit out here. Because they were making records before me. He taught me that I'm not even tripping, dog. We're out here to get money, not fucking talk about each other. He later on, he would diss Dre and all them. But he taught me a valuable lesson when I met him at a gala somewhere. We're taking pictures and shit, and he's like, "Come on, man, I ain't mad at you, dog. Let's take a picture." For La Opinion, I think it was one of the photographers for La Opinion wanted us together, and so we took the picture. He was like, "I ain't tripping," and I learned a valuable lesson that I was then later able to pass down to Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill came into the game, and they had a little small beef with Tribe Called Quest because we were first going to be called the Cypress Hill Tribe, and then they came out with the Tribe Called Quest. It was a small little thing that lasted 35 seconds, but they wanted to go in on Tribe, and I had that conversation, the same conversation that Eazy-E gave me, I gave it to them, and then they became best of friends. And I think, or you would have never seen a Tribe Called Quest with Cypress Hill at some of those smokeout festivals and shit like that.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad we cleared that up.
No, that's my story. That's my
Yeah.
story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, and so when you met Eazy-E, and then I know you had mentioned about there being a Latino in NWA.
Yeah.
you know.
Mexican. You'll see him on the Dope Man cover, one of their first covers. He's kneeling down next to Candyman.
Crazy D, is that what
Crazy
it?
D.
Yeah.
He used to rock with them, and I forget how that connection came about because he was from Huntington Park, right next to us in Southgate, and we used to battle. D would come with us to go battle all over Southgate, Huntington Park, Linwood, Bell Gardens. At that time, this is before we made records, and then he was also really good friends with Easy some kind of way. I don't know how that was, but Crazy D is one of the most underrated MCs at that time. Vicious killer on the mic at that time, that particular time.
Yeah, and eventually NWA moved on, decided he shouldn't be part of the group.
Well, no, Ice Cube left first.
Oh, okay.
Ice Cube was kind of the one who spearheaded the breakup because he wasn't getting his bread type of thing, and then you know, Dr. Dre and them dissed him when he hadn't even said anything yet. And at the time, he was working with Public Enemy and those guys, the Bomb Squad. And once he heard they called him Benedict Arnold, that's when he actually wrote No Vaseline in that order. But, you know, he broke up. He left NWA, and then Easy and Dre and the rest of them got into it as well, where Easy left. And then they talking back, you know, back and forth with Dre, and Snoop Dogg comes into the picture, and, you know, got a vivid memory about the way all that shit went down.
Man, that's crazy. So, what do you think about Death Row Records coming back?
That's a beautiful thing. I mean, you know, ownership of your own masters, and you gotta applaud that. You know, so many times, you know, the trade-off in the music industry for us in our era was, we're gonna make you famous, but you're gonna give us a lot of your publishing, right? So the trade-off was you kind of had to, I wouldn't say sell your soul, but maybe just a little bit, right? Now they want you to sell your soul completely, you know. And so the trade-off was the fame. And if you were lucky, your core fan base followed you the rest of the way, right? Mm-hmm. And once you leave the record company or whatever, like for myself, I had a 7-album deal with Capitol Records. But once I left that, there were some years that were really ugly. And I went to like drug use, major drug usage, and partying and getting my tour money and just fucking it off however I wanted to or saw fit. I mean, to the point I'm doing everything and, you know, I'm having a good time every night. Don't get me wrong. But some bad habits were created. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about crack cocaine, acid, you know, shrooms, the whole nine. We're putting the whole gumbo together here tonight, people.
Damn.
You know, and I'm not ashamed to tell you because it was a phase, something that I went through. I'm experienced that way, but it's also helped to make me who I am today. I'm still a badass motherfucker. I don't give a fuck.
For sure.
Right? So if you have any secrets, that's your problem. I don't have no secrets. My shit's been on records already. I already said it. There's nothing you could do to diss me. I put myself out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's important for people to know, you know, like your life story, you should own it.
Yeah.
And, you know, people go through shit, but you were dealing with fame, you know, coming out of a record deal. I'm sure you probably had a lot of like stress, and then you had money.
Yeah.
So
I think the toughest part was not being able to go to the supermarket and shit like that anymore. And then dealing with, I mean, a management team, we're talking about Jerry Heller and Maury Alexander and guys like that. Some of the wickedest crooks games
Jerry was one of your managers.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That you ever know in the game. And when you get got for 200,000 large, you'll feel it.
That's some clarity.
That should wake you up. Yeah. You know, so
Fuck.
you go through it a little bit, you know, because you had visions of what you wanted to do with that bread. Buy your mother a house, yada, 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 go on a vacation, take a break from this shit. You know, so it got a little weird in there, real funky.
So how did you connect with Jerry if he was, you know?
Okay, here's how that happened. Maury and Jerry were partners, business partners. And so one had all the Latino groups like myself, Kid Frost, even Booyah Tribe. That was Maury. And then Jerry would deal with the black rappers. Eazy-E, Dre, Cube, Arabian Prince, all of them. MC Ren, all of them. So the funny shit about it was though we never put two and two together, but we were like, how come they're partners but they have separate buildings? For those that don't know, that's so they can shred the books before you show up.
Oh, damn.
Shred everything. You know what I mean? And it was wicked like that, man. I mean, we're dealing at a time where the record executives were still holding a Hitler-like grip on the music industry, and those old school dudes were still there. A lot of the gangster dudes. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about real mafioso type dudes. We're talking about, Gambino, crime family type people in the music industry, making sure your records are getting played and all these other things. It
Wow.
was a dirty business back then. You feel me?
Yeah.
So this is the kind of era that we came up in. You don't see that anymore. You don't hear that anymore. It's still out there, but not as prevalent.
Yeah, that's crazy. I interviewed Jerry Heller when he was alive.
No, Jerry was a great guy. I didn't have to deal with him all the time. I mean, I have a great story. Before they ripped me off, we used to go party at Monty's, go up to the 27th, whatever floor it was, there in Century City, have some steaks and some wine and shit and talk business. And one night, Jerry got hella drunk to the point he couldn't drive. He said, Mello, can you give me a ride home? I drive the white 745 IL BMW, whatever. I said, Jerry, come on, man. I'll give you a ride to the crib. my buddy Bronick follows me in my car, who happened to be with me, and that was a great story. I mean, I drove him out to Calabasas, and that's the kind of Jerry I want to remember. You know what I'm saying? But his partner Maury was more hands-on, and I remember one day I walked in the office, we're talking business. He puts a revolver on the desk. You know what I mean? Those type of tactics, those old school grimy Chicago mobster type tactics, during a business meeting. I'm just a kid. I'm 20, 21,
Damn.
Shit like that. When you see that, you're going to, I think I better sign this contract right here.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
That's some Suge Knight moves right there.
Facts, yeah.
And were you able to avoid gangs?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got to give credit to where credit is due. There was a guy in my neighborhood. His name was Leonard. I believe he was from Grape Street, I want to say. He's the one that kept a lot of the gangs off of me and my brother, especially me. In the city of Southgate. He saw something in me. Good brother, resting in peace now, killed himself in a game of Russian roulette in the 1970s. But he kept a lot of those gangs in the 1970s away from me. And he had that type of force, and I'll never forget that. But I was able to navigate around the gangs because of Leonard. Hence, now hip hop comes into creation, and I was able to jump into that and give my full attention to hip hop.
So, now you have schools as well. Do you think that your music schools can kind of, help younger?
Well, I don't have schools. I have curriculums.
Okay.
Right. And so what I do is we go through city council. Sometimes we have to sit in front of city councils, sell the idea, tell them what it is, show them the curriculum, and then across the board, they all have to agree. For instance, on this other program, the Canoga Park, that's through more of a foundation situation where the foundation accidentally invited me to a golf tournament. I go. They're like, hey, we want to bring your program out to Canoga Park as well. We love what you're doing with the kids. And so now I just came back to La Puente for a new one, for a new term. And, I mean, we're growing. We're growing, and I love it. I love to see this thing grow. We could be in 100 cities at once, and just paying it forward. And that we can secure a better music, too, in the future. You know what I mean? By having the MCs, the legends step up and give it to them, and then they'll shoot it back out one day.
Yeah,
what I mean?
no, I love that because of all of the knowledge you have and how you were saying you really studied the craft from your early days and kind of instilling that in these artists right now, and maybe giving them like something, a missing piece of, where they were never.
Well, yeah, you got to remember, these kids are 8 years old. We started them at 8 years old all the way to 21. Some of them have never touched a keyboard. in 15 weeks, we were able to have them perform in front of their parents. And graduation day, certificates of completion, and things like that. And they were able to perform and show. I mean, the whole arena there at La Puente Park was full of parents, cousins, uncles, aunts, brothers, and sisters, and it was just amazing.
That's awesome, man. I
Yeah.
love that. So what kind of curriculum is it, if you could like just give a like quick like summary of it?
Every class is different. I chose different teachers from my past, people that I work with. And the music class was anchored by my boy Bronick, who had produced some stuff on my album, The Brother with Two Tongues. And I had him anchor that class because he's great with kids already, and he knows how to pick a drum machine apart. So I chose him, and then for the music, for the pop class, my friend Abby Losas, who I'd worked with on the Mark for Death sound. I'm sorry, the Crazy Beautiful with Kristen Dunst. We had
Yeah.
the title track to that one.
The movie.
Song called Ten La Fe. I called her up because I knew she could play piano and sing at the same time. She said, she had already been doing some stuff in the teacher realm, the educator realm already for many years. So it made perfect sense. And then in my class, I would teach them how to rap in English and Spanish and bilingual. I would do mock battles, stuff like that, where they would have to battle each other, and then teaching them the stage presence part of it. Never walk in front of your rhyme partner. The importance of going around that person, whoever's anchoring the rhyme at the time. Make sure that there's always something happening on different side of the stage, things like that.
That's dope.
And of course, there's weeks and weeks of 3 weeks of rehearsals that take place, so that they know their cues and learn the importance of rehearsal as well. Because you can't just go out on stage and kill it if you don't practice.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like sports, If you don't practice, you don't get good, right? A lot of artists will come on stage, I don't know, I'm just going to sing a couple tracks, and never rehearse anything, never seen the rehearsal studio.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go do this track, homie, Dog, what's your show about? Just going to rap a couple songs,
Yeah,
That's not going to get you longevity,
for sure.
so.
Yeah, I think practice, you're right. That's a good point. I think that if you're trying to make it, you got to do what Mellow Man Ace and study, it's.
I mean, you can or you don't, it's up to you, bro. Do you want to be in the chair or do you want to be watching?
For sure. I hope people will really take that away. I don't know how many people out there watching are musicians. I'm sure that's a majority of the people watching. I do interview a lot of people in the music industry.
Yeah.
And I think that's some really good advice, and you've been here since
1987 to be right and exact.
kind of like Cypress Hill, they dropped their 30th year album,
Yeah. That's right.
So
Yeah.
you're right alongside with that.
I'm even longer than them, 37 years,
For sure.
so it's been an incredible run, it's just, there's been some dark days, don't get me wrong. Everything ain't, strip clubs and alcohol. It isn't. There's moments there that you're going to have that you have to reflect, and you have to look in the mirror and check yourself. There's days like that too. Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, well, what do you think about the Drake and the Kendrick and,
Yeah, that's a young man's ball game. I don't get involved. I'm a grown ass man. I'm a grown man. That's a young man's thing. Let them handle that. I try not to get involved. And I am so sincere with that. My boy Johnny's right there. He's never heard me say, "Yo, what do you think about this Kendrick thing?" And he's never have, because we're grown ass niggas doing grown ass nigga shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that, you are giving a representation for Latinos in hip hop, and people that watch the show, they know I'm a huge hip hop head.
Yeah.
And I feel like, the music sound right now. Obviously, we're getting a larger presence. Like it came in like waves.
Yeah.
Like it's going up right now at this point in time. How are you feeling about the Latino hip hop scene right now today?
Well, I mean, just hip hop in general, whether it's done by whoever, it's a gradual growth. Some are doing it well, some are doing it shitty. But the importance part of it all is, look, in music, in anything, even in sports, what happens is everybody has a chance to shine, right? From, let's say, from my era or the Michael Jordan era. It evolves. Then you have the Kobe Bryant, then you have the LeBron James, and then, you know what I mean? It gradually grows, right? It's the same thing with hip hop. Whoever is hot at the moment has the current podium. He can say whatever the fuck or she they want. They're the hot thing, and great for them. It happened to me like it happened to them. What you say is vital, and how you keep it. If it's real, if it's actual fact, or you're just bullshitting, right? It will determine how your outcome will be. Will the people gravitate to you 20 years from now, still be rocking with you, based off the shit that you're saying today? Can you be here for 30 years? Based off the shit that you're saying today. Think about it like that, right? 37 years. Could you get 37?
Damn. That's a long time.
Like Grandmaster Flash and them guys. Can you get 45? Can you get 45 years of rocking based off the shit that you're saying at the podium today? And I think if rappers paid attention to it like that, or anybody for that matter, think about it like that. Are you tapping in with the people? Are you so disconnected that they can't even rock with you? And I think that's the part where the ego comes into play. What are you doing with your 15 minutes of fame, and can you stretch that into a 30
to an hour?
Yeah, to an hour minute.
Yeah.
An hour and 30 minutes.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Hey, you're the one to speak on that because you've been in the game for 30 years.
Yeah, but I haven't done everything right either. I haven't done everything right. Like I told you, I've been addicted to drugs. I've been a man whore out in these streets. I done ran California. You know what I mean? There were certain things that that I've done too that were wrong. Or not as right as my right could be. You know what I mean?
That's all.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a young man given a lot at a young age, and I ran through it. You know what I mean? I did my thing. I did it my way.
Yeah,
I did it my way, but my way was not so bad.
I mean, that's really true. You really
This fucking guy.
You really did navigate from a very young age, Well,
look, I came here as a Cuban refugee. Okay? Not on a banana boat, but I came on an airplane, okay, first and foremost. Not that there's no disrespect on a banana boat. I grew up on dirt floors in my grandfather's house. Got here, I had a vision. Because I won the Cuban lottery for my family to get off the island, I always kind of grew up with a purpose. I had a purpose. Now, I understand not everybody's going to have that same experience. But whatever your experience is, live up to its full potential. Equate that to your life. You may not have been a Cuban refugee or an Ecuadorian refugee or a Honduran refugee. Maybe you grew up in Mexico. Maybe you grew up in Puerto Rico, Santo Domingo, Argentina. Whatever it is that happened to you, turn it into gold.
Yeah, use the hand that you're dealt.
That part.
Yeah. Speaking of poker, do you play poker?
I don't. He does.
Yeah? You play golf, though.
I play golf.
Everyone that knows Mel Mayonnaise knows he's a golf.
Well, I mean, at my age,
Player.
that's like the only sport we could play left, without getting hurt. You know what I mean? Can't play football. Can't play basketball. Keep up with them kids at the basketball court. Plus, I'm a cigarette smoker, cigar smoker. Forget about. Yeah.
I know. Someone gave me your cigar tray to give to you.
Yeah, I had left that up when I was, doing my podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, so are you bringing your podcast back?
I don't know. See, that's a sensitive situation for me. We're working on something right now with Johnny, my boy John. You can't see him; he's here. We're working on something, and we think we have something. We're how can I say, cultivating it. We're putting it together. We're shooting some scenes and see what we got. But my old podcast won't come back, and that's because my mother died the same day. I was gonna film a podcast show with the graffiti legend Chaka. That morning, I got the call that my mother died. So that Havana Lounge podcast won't come back. What I am excited about is working with my man Johnny and our boy Mark Martinez on this new idea, new concept, fresh ideas. Has a new energy.
Yeah, no, podcasting obviously is huge right now, and I'm really just putting all my energy into it, and I think that a lot of artists are really kind of also using podcasting as a secondary platform outside of the music.
Sure.
And I think podcasting can really just like change a lot of people's lives, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if done right, you put the right time in, like anything. It's up to you to make it go. It's not easy, but you learn a lot along the way. Before I started doing my podcast, I didn't know nothing too much about cameras, and I'd been doing music videos for 30 some odd years. I never stopped to ask the director, okay, well, what does this button do on this camera? But I learned about lighting, staging, computers, how to run this wire through that and create, I learned all that stuff. So it's a multifaceted thing where you could, not just get in front of the camera, but if you study what's happening behind the camera, later on, that could be you too as well. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. Do you get involved with like the direction of the music videos, or you let?
I try to direct all my music videos since 2004, 5. I write all the treatments for my videos.
Oh. What is a treatment for those that don't know?
A video treatment is when you write specifically what's going to happen from the beginning to the middle to the end of that video. Anything that is seen on screen is because we planned it out that way. Whether it's an interior shot, which means inside, or an exterior shot, which means outdoors, day or night. And I think nobody can tell your story or paint the picture of your body of work than you can. And if you just take some time to learn the verbiage of the writer or the person who's the director, and you start co-directing at least, because there's always somebody who's going to have to shoot it for you, right? Or produce it for you. But I think for me, it started working better when I didn't have to guess what you're doing on your end as the director. Here's the script. I emailed it to you. This is what we're doing. This is what we're shooting. Then you chop it up, edit it, put it together.
Yeah.
And let's go.
I like that. You're like so meticulous in everything. I feel like in all the things that you do.
I think you have to be. Because, look, during COVID, I took the time to learn how to play percussion, drums, congas and bongos, right?
Oh, I saw you. Playing the bongos on a show.
Yeah. And I think sharpening that craft, because it's not something that's second nature for me, even though I'm Afro-Cuban. It's something that you still got to work at. And I think with anything that you do or try to, I don't know, reinvent yourself, right? Because there's always those increments of years that you have to reinvent yourself so that you're not the same boring piece of cake you had last year, right?
Yeah.
And that your fans ain't chewing on the same stale crackers from 10 years ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I was still doing something from 20 years ago, I should have been checked by now, right? So, and that's what I'm talking about, not being a one-trick pony entertainer or rapper MC. Whatever you're doing, do it to the fullest. And do it today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow may never come. It may never come. We're not promised tomorrow. So how many more tomorrows do we have? I don't know. but I know I got today. I've seen my yesterdays, but I know I got today. And today, I'm gonna be on the Angie Small show, right?
Oh, snap.
Right. And today, I'll continue. You know what I mean? Doing what I do today.
Oh, I love that. I've been trying to get you to sit with me. You know, I dropped that footage, that behind the scenes. We walked into a restaurant. Shout out. What was the name of the restaurant? I was in Downey. I think it was called Cinco de Mayo. Is that the name of the restaurant? Do you remember? Our chips and salsa. Something. It's had some generic name like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he walks into the restaurant and everybody there starts well, first off, the restaurant starts playing Mentirosa, and everybody in the
Oh
restaurant.
yeah, right on cue. That was crazy.
Everybody
Yeah.
starts singing it. People that we weren't even sitting with us because we were there waiting for him. I was there with comedian Jeff Garcia.
Yes.
And so that was dope. That was a cool clip. So I had just dropped that on my stories. I'll put
Yeah,
it
I
on
saw
our
it.
TikTok.
I saw it. Actually, somebody tagged me on it, and I reposted that. I love that shit.
Yeah. No, I mean your song is a classic, but you got a lot of classics, and again, writing for.
Well, no, I
Cypress
don't. I
Hill.
don't.
But you've
But
helped.
through Cypress Hill, we were able to create another classic called Lowrider, right?
I freaking love that song.
And I wrote that one. Well, the hook, my part, you know. Oh, coming through for real with
song
Cypress
is so
Hill, oh baby, right? And then through Kid
Going
Frost, I
gangster.
got another one when we did Lowrider on that version.
Oh.
You know, is how we do that one? That was I be chasing hotties as a hobby, mellows on a bully, and I'm getting
Oh my
naughty.
god,
Oh,
that
baby.
song is hard.
Yeah, that, you know, so it was just being at the right place at the right time 34 years ago, you know, to show up to the studio session and just have fun, you know. And now I'm still performing those records and those ideas 34 years later. Some 37, because I still do Mas Being Going on stage every time.
Yeah, so you definitely got like a sauce and a flavor that like is really helps shape Cypress Hill. I feel like from just being a underground, you know, gritty rap.
Look,
group.
Cypress Hill was going to be great regardless, with me or without me. The only thing I really did, well, let's not discredit myself either, okay? But if I'm not born and win the Cuban lottery, my brother's not part of that, right? So when you think about it that way, you know, and then of course we're family. We all came up together. We were supposed to make it. But I'll tell you what, Cypress Hill, the way they move, the way they know how to rock, they're gonna be great regardless. It's just who we are. As we're a very b-boy minded camp. B-boys turn businessmen. That's who we are. Because all of us were pop lockers and breakdancers. DJ Muggs, incredible breakdancer. Send Dog, pop locker. Be Real, pop locker. Tomahawk Funk, pop locker.
Damn. So what do you think about the LA influence on the rest of the world? Like, you know, there's like a lot of cool pop blockers and like Japan and stuff like that.
Well, now it's in the Olympics. Breakdancing is in the Olympics. So imagine how long and how far hip hop has come to have one of its elements represented in the Olympics. I mean, that's a beautiful thing, right? And anybody who's taken part in this beautiful culture has to give thanks. You got to give salute, you know?
Damn, man. Well, I can't wait to see what you bring about the next 10 years, next 20 years, next 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm excited for your
Me too.
your reggaeton album or song.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, you know? We'll see what happens when everything drops, and we're just going to have fun, man. We're going to continue having fun, keep on creating, you know, and just keep showing up.
That's dope, man. I think you're a really integral part of Latino hip hop, you know, and I'm happy you came on the show because, like I said, there's a lot of artists that watch the show that are interested in music. We have so many musicians on the show, and a lot of guys that are, you know, trending right now and, you know, being considered or looked at as the new LA rappers.
Yeah.
And if they watch this, I know that they're going to be able to really take some of your advice. And like you said, like how far can you stretch that 15 minutes of fame?
Yeah, because next year you hate to hear, hey, would you like French fries with that? That's your other option. A lot of us didn't graduate high school. A lot of us are high school dropouts, college dropouts. You know, and so what you make of the opportunity that this music creates for you, this culture, will, it can either bless you, or it could just
Eat you up and chew
eat
you
your ass
out.
up. Quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said. So.
Yeah, exactly. And you bring in the performance aspect as well and really thinking things through, you know, not just going on stage and spitting some lyrics. You know, you're teaching kids now too about the stage performance, stage presence.
Yeah. I mean, I think, look, you never want to get stuck, you know? And the reason I learned to play drums during COVID too was because, how they say, last year's price ain't today's price. The price of bread went up. The price of gas went up. The price of this, everything is up. What did you do to add value to yourself? What have you done lately? Ask yourself that.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a DJ, if you're a horn player, you know, if you're a rapper, MC, how do you turn rapping into a business? Ask yourself these things.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to stay a one-trick pony and get away with it? A lot of people won't even know because a lot of people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sing a song and do your thing for, I've seen them. They're getting away with a highway robbery. A lot of them. I saw a show So Tired the other day. Guy came on stage with a cane.
Uh-huh.
Guy that I came up with. Didn't start rapping, blaming the DJ situation. He can't get his plugs in and all, for 45 minutes.
Oh, damn.
First of all, if I need a cane, that's the day I quit rapping. I quit entertaining. I'm not trying to be out here all abuelito status, looking all tired. You know what I mean? Beat down by life, tired as fuck. You know, with a cane?
Unless you're
Come on.
Big Daddy Kane. Like
Yeah, right. Big Daddy
that's the
cane.
only way that you
Yeah,
can pass
yeah,
on
exactly.
that.
Exactly. But this other guy, and he should know better because he's from my school of entertainers and rappers that came in the game at the same time. It was just so boring, so just lackluster, and he's hobbling.
Hopefully that was his last show.
I'm sorry, man, but you got to call a dog, a light, and a carpet sometimes.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. If you're just not cut out, sometimes you got to know when to change lanes.
I think it was, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
I mean, you're still performing, obviously. What's your shows coming up?
We got Sacramento coming up. We got San Jose coming up. We got Michigan. We got not Minnesota, Milwaukee, and then we're gonna do La Puente as well. Shout out Dave Argudo there, and then we got the Big Bobby D thing coming up. It should be really dope in September, and so just having fun. We got the Canyon coming up August 11th for Chino Mike's Bash. That jam should be really good with myself and Lighter Shade of Brown. Just having fun.
You like
Having fun.
going on tour?
Well, yeah. Aside from, meeting a lot of, it's just what we do. It's another aspect of what we do. And being on stage is like where I feel the most comfortable. I really do. And I know that shit might sound cliche as hell, but come out to see a show and you'll see.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I have seen one of your shows.
I'm not saying you per se, your audience.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, go look them up. Where can we find
come
those?
see a Mellow Man A show and
What's your
let me know.
website? You got a website with all the dates?
The website is being, how do they say, updated and all that stuff. So just get me at on on the gram.
Okay.
Mellow underscore man underscore ace.
And you got all the show information on there?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know Bobby D's doing a big show. What's that show in September? And
The freestyle festival
oh,
with
okay.
Lisa, Vanilla Ice, Tone Loc, Young MC Rob Bass, Egyptian Lover, Nocera, Connie, Mellow Man Ace, Young MC, you name. I mean, look it up. Get your tickets now, guys. You know, get your tickets because it's gonna go. It's gonna go off. It's gonna be crazy. Is all I can say. You know.
Yeah, I just met
September 8th.
an artist who works for Bobby D. His name's Mikey. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Singer, young guy, young kid. But yeah, I fuck with Bobby D. I think he throws some amazing shows. Anybody in LA? I don't know. Does he do shows outside of LA?
Yes, he does.
Oh.
He'll take you all the way to Europe.
Really?
He's done concerts with my brother and them, Bone Thugs, Too Short, all the way in Germany. So he's expanded his portfolio for sure.
Yeah. I always meet people that are working with him. He's definitely grown so much. I'm meeting more and more people that are on his team and stuff. Like I said, I just met a lady from his team. Cece, I was with Cece Valencia. She took me to the Baddies West concert in LA last weekend. But, you know, like, that's dope, man. You got a full tour schedule, basically, for the rest of the
It's
year.
not touring. It's not. I'm not touring. It's more spot dates.
Okay.
Spot dating. You know, that's what they call it. It's the industry spot dates. Then you have to. I can't do touring.
And then, what about your restaurant? You still got a restaurant?
I never had a restaurant. What I did, he had the restaurant.
Where's
Johnny
that,
had
that
the restaurant.
seafood restaurant?
Yeah, that was Johnny's restaurant. Oh Crab.
That's where I met you.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, he looks so familiar.
yeah, that's Johnny from Sidebars and Oh Crab. Sidebar in Hacienda Heights.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, he's the man.
I know you guys
my
did
brother.
you guys
My
still
brother.
doing shows over there too? Because I know you guys had a big show.
No, and I'll tell you off camera what why not.
Okay.
But no.
Well, be on the lookout for Mellow Man's Ace shows, new singles.
Follow me on the gram, mellow_man_ace. Thank you.
Pioneer in Latino hip hop, pioneer in hip hop in general.
Talk that shit.
Like one of the founding members of Cypress Hill, man. We got a legend came through today, and I'm so happy we made it happen.
Thank you, Angie Smalls, for the platform, for the love, and for the time.
Of course. Maybe you'll catch me at one of his golf tournaments. You never know. I might show up. I might pop out.
Yeah, the second annual will be next year. So.
Okay. Nice. I love that. You're giving back to
working
the
it out.
community.
Well, yeah, the golf tournament came because of the performing arts curriculum that I have. It gave it purpose, actually. So, shout out to David Argudo, who made it really all happen from the classroom to the golf course, because without one, the other one doesn't happen. And the city of La Puente, I want to thank, Mayor Klinakis down there. I want to thank the city manager, Bob Lindsay, his assistant, Alex Bauman. These people really came to the table and really said, Mello, we love what you're doing. Let's do it.
That's dope, man.
And now I want to thank Michelle over in at the ACE Foundation as well. So it's awesome, man. Meeting so many great people, amazing energies, and that want to see me genuinely do good.
Well, yeah, and you're giving good back,
Yeah.
It's all a circle.
For a second, I didn't know what I was doing. And then it just, I just stopped and I looked at him like, yeah, man, it is good. It's from a good place,
Hey, I love that. I think that, everything you're doing, like you said, you've really studied your craft, and that's what artists should
shout out
do.
Kimberly Cardona as well. Kimberly Cardona, she was amazing from the La Puente Community Foundation.
You're using your
Instrumental.
talents and you're spreading it all over the community.
Let's go.
We're out here in SoCal, sunny LA,
Yeah.
to the universe, man.
No, I'm loving it. Like I said, I'm having fun and now doing not so much entrepreneurial stuff, but just stuff to better philanthropy work almost,
Yeah.
Doing philanthropy.
I love that word.
Cut checks to other people and let them.
That's when you know you've made it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think I'm here at this place.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of myself, but I'm proud also of my parents who made this man. You know what I'm saying? So
Man, well, thank you so much, Meloman Ace, for coming on the show. All you artists out there, go follow a real one. Go follow the teacher, one of the founding members of Latino hip hop, like I said. But I'm your girl, Angie Smalls. This has been the newest edition of Latin Affiliated TV. We had special guest Meloman Ace with an exclusive here today at Street TV. Have a great day, guys, and we'll see you later.
peace.
Peace.